Welcome back to Through a Rosy Window and Into Wellness. I'm Bev, co-founder of Rosy Window Productions, and your host for this 10-part series. In our previous episodes, we've discussed reflecting and reframing, heightening our awareness on our thoughts and feelings, interactions and responses. In this episode, we will attempt to have an honest look at honesty. Is honesty the best policy? The knee-jerk reaction to this is yes, absolutely it is. But let's take a closer look at where honesty fits into our wellness and mental health. To begin today, I mentioned the episode on reframing as I believe that making up stories and not being honest has its biggest impact on relationships, self-esteem, and anxiety when you're not being honest with yourself. We humans have a very powerful defense mechanism to protect us from physical and emotional danger or discomfort. We also have a wonderful imagination, reasoning power, and can engage in great dialogue with ourselves. All of the intricate ways our mind works, problem solving, sorting information, and motivating us to take action keeps us moving, sometimes in the direction we are meant to go in, and sometimes with a feeling in our gut that lets us know that something isn't quite the way it should be. What happens when we're not honest with ourselves? One of the first things that come to mind is that we might be avoiding responsibility, or that this dishonesty with ourselves may radiate to those around us. Sometimes you may not have meant to lie, but it turns out that way. And it is so hard to admit that you were wrong or miscalculated or simply didn't think a plan all the way through. Regardless how it unfolded, the sooner you are honest, the less stress you will endure. Don't lie. If you do, fix it. Let's imagine a person named Bob. Bob is a very good employee and his job comes with a lot of responsibility. Bob also has a partner he adores and 2 children. There's a circus coming to town, and he has promised his 2 kids that he's going to take a well-deserved weekend off and spend some time with them. He's been working a lot of overtime, and his partner has been carrying the burden of the home responsibilities. Bob will take the kids, and his partner could join them at the circus or take the afternoon to enjoy some self-care on her own. Everyone is looking forward to this event, and Bob feels really good about supporting his partner and is looking forward to a great day with his kids. He truly misses them when he has to work more hours than usual and begins to feel disconnected with his family unit. The Monday before the circus, Bob gets a visit from his supervisor, who hands him a project folder with deadlines for the next Monday. Bob barely glances up as the folder is plopped on his desk. He says, "Sure can," and the supervisor leaves. You can see where this story is going, can't you? The first step for Bob, to be honest, is to have a look at that project and decide how realistic it is for him to have it done in a week. Weigh the rest of his workload and decide whether there may be enough hours in his week to complete the additional task. This is so challenging for many of us. How many times does that 15-minute task actually take an hour? How often should we have asked for help but didn't? After Bob has this conversation with himself, he can make some decisions. Does he avoid discomfort by trying to convince himself that he can add the project and still enjoy the days off with his kids? Or does he look at the task honestly and be uncomfortable for 20 minutes while he discusses extending the deadline, recruiting some help, or asking the supervisor to find someone else to take on the project? Bob has fallen into a trap. He doesn't have an honest conversation with himself or his supervisor. He avoids an honest conversation at home to avoid what he thinks the reaction will be. He convinces himself that with an extra hour each day this week, he can pull it off. Each day that hour turns into working late. His stomach turns as he dreads the possibility of not being able to take the weekend off. He doesn't mention this to his partner as she looks forward to her day, and the kids are so excited. He is becoming tired. He is grabbing a quick fast food dinner at work. He's beginning to feel guilty, and his productivity is down. He's even disappointed with the standard of work he is doing, and he has lost focus. We can see in this very simple example how honesty must begin from within. Our awareness and honesty with ourselves does give us peace. It does alleviate anxiety, and it does have ramifications for those around us. We can let our defense mechanisms protect us from discomfort, but at what cost? At the end of the day, when you reflect on spending time with someone, you can say to yourself that you hung out for 3 hours with your family. But did you? Were you all in the same room with a movie, texting, or an online distraction? When you step on the scales, do you honestly have to wonder why you aren't a pound closer to your goal? Or do you recall justifying that extra piece of pie so you didn't hurt Aunt Martha's feelings? Take time for reflection so you can be honest with yourself. Honesty with others, you think, might be more straightforward, but is it? Honesty is the cornerstone of trust, and it is so important to take responsibility if we have made a mistake or have bitten off more than we can chew, like Bob, and more often than not, honesty is the best policy. Choose kind words. Say no when you need to say no. Saying yes to activities that you don't have the time or energy for can lead to resentment and fatigue. Be honest with yourself about needing help and ask to avoid frustration, becoming overwhelmed or anxious. Reveal the truth and fix a mistake. Show your genuine self. Don't lie about who you are. Explore your values and beliefs and stick to them. Prioritize. Honesty will help you keep your priorities. Be honest about what you have control over. Being honest with yourself and others will keep you on a more even keel, releasing tension, building genuine relationships, and allowing you to be proud of your accomplishments and enjoy the lessons of those things that didn't work just the way you expected them to. As we become honest with ourselves and more honest with others, we will model great communication skills for our children, and we are modeling for our children 24/7. When you have made an elaborate excuse to get out of helping a friend with a garage sale, your child will hear you say how busy you are on Saturday or that your husband has made plans for the whole family. When Saturday rolls around and you are relaxing with a cup of coffee with no plans, you will show your child that it is okay to fabricate to get out of something that you just didn't want to do. Be uncomfortable for that 30 seconds with your friend and simply say no. You would rather not help with a garage sale. Just as you didn't want to help with a garage sale, perhaps a friend says no to helping you with some yard work on a sunny Sunday. Be aware of your reaction. You could rant about all the things that you've done for her, or be glad that your relationship allows honesty. You can show your children how to be gracious and kind when others are honest. This is also a good time to mention the honesty that we don't really like. Be gracious. If you ask someone what they think, you might be disappointed in a response, but you don't need to be upset. It is better in the long run to hear the truth than to surround yourself with people who just say what they think you want to hear. Thank you for being honest is a good way to start a conversation with children of any age that are confessing to something that they know is not going to make you happy. And knowing that the consequences for being dishonest will be worse, we can teach our children through example that we don't tolerate dishonesty in our friends or family. If someone has lied to you, do you let it go or confront them? Again, a minute of discomfort might be more easily tolerated than not knowing what you can believe from that person. And it also reinforces your core honest values. Telling your children how much you admire someone for their honesty and how you can trust them because of that will also help to encourage honest behavior. It's very powerful to aspire to be more like someone you look up to and less like a person that you cannot trust. Sometimes the truth feels hard to face. We should be reminded that each person has their own story, their own likes and dislikes, and their own unique perspective. Something that you like may not be everyone's cup of tea. Choose your words with kindness. Encourage honesty by being honest. Children are born to tell the truth. It is our reaction to the things that they say and do that changes that. And yes, they will learn the subtle nuances of social etiquettes, sharing appropriately in all of the different situations that they will be presented with. Isn't it great when you've had a disagreement with your spouse just minutes before guests arrive, and after putting a pin in it and shaking it off, you smile at the door only to hear a small voice ask if you're still mad? That's the kind of honesty that does get figured out. Honesty can be a little tricky at times. If Aunt Martha asks you if her new dress is appropriate for the wedding you are attending, and you know that she has time for a change, you might tell her that it is the same color as the wedding party is wearing. That is honest. But if she can't switch dresses, you might just let it go. Every generation has its moments, and I think each will point out the happenings in the world that aren't so wonderful. We are living in some crazy times, and the burden to make the world a better place falls on the adults who might just be raising the next prime minister, the coach who is mentoring the next president, and all the adults who are influencing the next generation. Let's instill honesty and integrity and look forward to a brighter, happier, healthier future. Thank you for joining us today. We will end with a short meditation and hope to see you again. Unless you're listening while driving or participating in an activity that requires your full attention, you can just sit back and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. And just notice how all of the tension is draining away from your shoulders all the way down through your whole body. Isn't it wonderful to contemplate the meaning of honesty? As we demonstrate to the children in our life and those around us how much easier it is to be honest. Satisfying. And even though sometimes it may be challenging to face consequences, it is so wonderful to be recognized as an honest person, and we can demonstrate that to our children. We reward honesty, integrity, how wonderful it is when we can have clarity and be honest with ourselves. Honesty paves the way for a clearer path, easier going, attracts honest friends, family, and brings us closer to a world that moves forward with honesty and integrity. And as you relax, you can take pride in being that honest person. Kind, caring, surrounding yourself with the people who you hold in high regard for their honesty and integrity. And so as we come to the end of this short, relaxing meditation, you can take a breath, take pride in your honesty, integrity, and as you open your eyes, know that you can look forward to the rest of a wonderful day.